Last time it was fruit, now it's dinner. Everyone assumes a real vegetable garden needs a backyard, raised beds, and a free Saturday every week. It doesn't. The right 15 vegetables and herbs will outproduce a garden row from pots on a balcony, a windowsill, a fire escape, and some of them are stranger than anything in the fruit list. One tastes like dish soap to 1 in 5 people, and it's not their fault, it's their DNA. One is so aggressive that planting it in open ground is a mistake you make exactly once, one you grow forever from a scrap you were about to throw in the bin, and number 1 was the first vegetable ever grown in space, and you harvest it by dumping out a bag. Let's start the list. Number 15, radishes, the fastest food you will ever grow. Most vegetables test your patience for months. A radish goes from seed to plate in as little as 25 days. Scatter them in a shallow 6-inch pot of loose soil. Thin them once, keep them watered, and you're pulling crisp red roots in under 4 weeks, which is exactly why they're the crop that hooks people. Here's the part nobody mentions, that sharp peppery bite is a chemical weapon. The radish stores harmless compounds in its cells, and only when you bite down and rupture them do they snap together into the burning mustard oil that's meant to punish whatever's eating it. The fresher and faster the radish, the more it bites back. Number 14 grows just as fast, and its sap was once used as a sedative. Number 14, loose-leaf lettuce, grown cut and come again. Forget waiting for a whole head. Sow a wide, shallow pot of leaf lettuce, and instead of pulling the plant, you crop the outer leaves with scissors, and the center keeps pushing new ones for weeks. One pot can feed you salad after salad off the same plants. Now the strange part. Lettuce is a member of the daisy family, and snap a stem and it bleeds a bitter white sap called lactucarium, nicknamed lettuce opium. In large concentrations it was historically dried and used as a mild sedative, which is the same reason old folklore swore a big plate of lettuce makes you drowsy. Number 13 does something even better than feed you, it quietly fertilizes its own pot. Number 13, bush beans, compact varieties that stay knee-high and never need a trellis. Drop seeds 2 inches deep in a 10-inch pot, give them 6 hours of sun, and a handful of plants will hand you tender green beans for weeks. But the real trick is underground. Bean roots strike a deal with a soil bacterium called rhizobium. The plant feeds the bacteria sugar, and the bacteria pull nitrogen straight out of the air and turn it into fertilizer the plant can use. A bean plant doesn't just take from the soil, it leaves it richer than it found it. Plant something hungry in that same pot next season, and it inherits the nitrogen for free. Number 12 built an entire myth around a nutrient it barely contains. Number 12, spinach, the fastest leafy green for cool weather. A wide 12-inch pot, rich soil, and a spot that gets morning sun but escapes the hot afternoon will give you tender leaves in about 6 weeks. The heat is its only enemy. Let it cook, and it bolts to seed and turns bitter overnight. And here's the famous lie. Spinach is not the iron bomb Popeye sold you. The reputation traces back to a decimal point slipped one place by early researchers, multiplying spinach's iron content tenfold on paper. The error spread, the cartoon ran with it, and a myth outlived the correction by a century. Spinach is good for you, just not magic. Number 11 is the only crop on this list you never have to buy twice. Number 11, green onions, scallions, the closest thing to free food that exists. You don't even start with a seed. Take the white root ends you'd normally throw away, stand them in an inch of water on a windowsill, and within days they regrow new green shoots. Move them to a small pot, and they'll regrow again, and again. Every time you snip them, a single bunch from the store becomes an endless supply you harvest with scissors forever. It's cut and come again taken to its limit. The plant simply refuses to quit. Most people throw their grocery money in the bin every week without realizing the next crop was the part they discarded. Number 10 is the wrong color, and the reason why is pure political propaganda. Number 10, carrots, and stop picturing the long ones because those will fork and twist in a pot. Grow round, stubby varieties like Paris Market in a deep 10-inch container of soft, stone-free soil, and you'll pull sweet little globe carrots in about 70 days. But here's the fact that rewrites everything you think you know about this vegetable. The carrot was never supposed to be orange. For over 1,000 years carrots were purple, white, and yellow. The orange carrot did not exist in nature. It was deliberately bred in the Netherlands in the 16th century, and the popular story is that Dutch growers cultivated it as a patriotic tribute to the House of Orange, the royal family that led the country. Every orange carrot you've ever eaten is, in a sense, a political flag that got planted into the global diet so successfully that we forgot it was ever any other color. Leave one in the pot too long, and it does something stranger still. It bolts upward into tall lace-white flowers, revealing its wild ancestor hiding in plain sight, Queen Anne's lace. Number 9 looks like a single vegetable, but it's secretly 5 vegetables wearing one name. Number 9, kale, the leafy green that refuses to die. One large pot, full sun, and steady water gives you months of harvest. You strip the lower leaves, and the plant keeps growing a palm tree trunk of new ones, and a light frost actually makes it sweeter as it converts starch to sugar to survive the cold. Now the botany that breaks people's brains. Kale, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, and kohlrabi are not relatives. They are the exact same species, Brassica oleracea, all bred from one scrawny wild mustard plant. Humans simply selected different parts to exaggerate. The leaves became kale, the flower buds became broccoli, the side buds became Brussels sprouts. You're not growing a vegetable, you're growing a blank canvas that humans painted 6 different dinners onto. Number 8 tastes like clean soap to millions of people, and they were born that way. Number 8, cilantro, one plant that secretly gives you 2 completely different spices. Grow it in a deep pot in cooler weather, because heat makes it bolt fast. Harvest the leaves young, and that's cilantro. Let it flower and go to seed, and those dried seeds are coriander, leaf and seed, 2 flavors, 1 plant. But here's the divider. To a large share of people, fresh cilantro doesn't taste herbal at all. It tastes like dish soap. That's not pickiness, it's a specific cluster of genes, including one called OR6A2, that lets certain people smell the soapy aldehydes in the leaf that everyone else can't detect. Whether this plant is delicious or disgusting is decided in your DNA before you ever taste it. Number 7 fools your nervous system into feeling a fire that isn't there. Number 7, peppers, sweet bells or fiery chilies, both thrive potted. A 5-gallon pot, 8 hours of blistering sun, and a steady warm spot will load a single plant with dozens of fruits, and unlike most of this list, peppers are perennial. Bring one indoors over winter, and it fruits again next year, bigger. Now the trick chilies play on you, the heat is a lie. Capsaicin, the compound in hot peppers, doesn't burn anything. It latches onto the exact same nerve receptor that detects real heat and damage, so your brain is convinced your mouth is on fire when nothing is actually hot. And the plant built it as a targeted weapon. Capsaicin repels mammals that would crush the seeds, but birds can't feel it at all, so birds eat the chilies and spread the seeds intact for miles. Number 6 is technically royalty, and turning your back on it for 1 week ruins it. Number 6, basil, the herb that pays you back faster the more you cut it. Give it a roomy pot, full sun, and warmth. And the secret to endless basil is aggression. Pinch the growing tips constantly, because every time you remove a tip, the plant splits into 2 new branches, doubling itself into a bush instead of a single stalk. The catch is the flowers. The moment basil is allowed to bloom, it shifts its energy to seed and the leaves turn bitter and sparse, so you must pinch the buds off the instant they appear. The name itself comes from the Greek basileus, meaning king. This was the royal herb, and in some cultures it was so revered that only a king was permitted to cut it. Number 5 is so violent in the ground that a pot isn't a convenience, it's a prison you build on purpose. Number 5, mint. And this is the one plant on the list you must never ever put in open soil. Mint sends out underground runners that travel in every direction and erupt into new plants, and left loose in a garden it will swallow the bed, choke its neighbors, and take years to fully evict. A pot isn't the easy option, it's the only safe one. Confine it to a container, and that same ferocity becomes a relentless supply of leaves all season. 2 stranger facts: most mint you grow, like peppermint, is a sterile hybrid, a cross between 2 other mints that can't reliably reproduce by seed, so it only spreads by cloning itself through those runners. And the cooling hit of menthol is the mirror image of a chili. Where capsaicin fakes heat, menthol latches onto your cold receptor and convinces your brain your mouth just dropped in temperature when nothing changed at all. Number 4 is a clone army, and it builds its only weapon the instant you crush it. Number 4, garlic. Plant it once in autumn, ignore it, and harvest a fat head the next summer. Push single cloves pointy end up into a deep pot, pointed ends 2 inches down, give it cold winter weeks to trigger bulbing, and each clove swells into a whole new head. which means every clove is a clone. The head you harvest is a genetic copy of the one you planted. An unbroken line growers have replanted for thousands of years, and the famous bite is a weapon that doesn't exist until you attack it. A whole intact clove is nearly odorless. The instant you crush or cut it, you rupture its cells and trigger an enzyme that builds allicin in seconds, a harsh sulfur compound the plant manufactures on the spot to punish whatever damaged it. Chop it and you set off a tiny chemical alarm. Number 3, you grow from a wrinkled piece you'd probably throw away. Number 3, ginger, and you start it from a knob off the grocery shelf. Pick a plump piece with little growth buds, lay it flat just under the surface of a wide, shallow pot of rich soil, keep it warm and humid, and those buds push up leafy shoots while the edible part fattens sideways underground. That part isn't even a root. It's a rhizome, a swollen underground stem, which is why a single supermarket knob can seed an entire pot. It sits in elite company. Ginger, turmeric, and cardamom are all close cousins in the same family. And cooking literally rewrites its flavor. Raw ginger's sharp gingerol transforms with heat into a compound called zingerone, which is milder and sweeter, the reason gingerbread tastes nothing like a raw slice. Number 2 is on every windowsill on Earth, and Europe once feared it as deadly poison. Number 2, cherry tomatoes, the single most productive thing you can grow in a pot. Compact, tumbling varieties spill over the rim of a hanging basket or a 5-gallon bucket and pump out hundreds of fruits from one plant across a season. Give them deep, consistent water and the most sun you have, and a single plant can outfeed an entire garden row. Botanically, the twist everyone forgets: the tomato is a fruit, in fact a berry, and the plant is a member of the nightshade family, its leaves and stems mildly toxic with solanine. That family resemblance is exactly why, for 200 years, wealthy Europeans were terrified of it. They called the tomato the poison apple, convinced it was deadly, when the real culprit was the acidic fruit leaching lead out of their pewter plates. The tomato took the blame for the plate. Number 1 was the first vegetable ever grown in space, and you harvest it by tipping over a bag. And number 1, potatoes, the highest payoff, most satisfying crop you can grow on a balcony. Take a single seed potato with a few eyes, drop it in the bottom of a tall fabric grow bag with a few inches of soil, and as the green shoots rise you keep burying them in more soil, hilling up, and the buried stem keeps throwing out new tubers the whole way up. From one seed potato you can pull 10 or more, and harvest day needs no digging, no fork, no guesswork. You simply tip the entire bag over and pour out a cascade of clean potatoes. Now the warnings and the wonder. The potato is also a nightshade, and it tells you when it's dangerous. Any part that turns green from light exposure is building solanine, the same toxin as the tomato's leaves, so you keep the tubers buried and store them dark. And the wonder: the potato was the first vegetable ever grown in space, chosen by NASA because it produces more calories per square foot than almost any crop on Earth, which is the entire point of this video. From a single bag in a corner of a balcony, this one crop can genuinely put dinner on the table for weeks. That's the full pantry: 15 vegetables and herbs, no garden required, salad, spice, and a sack of potatoes from pots the size of a doormat. Build even 5 of these and you're harvesting something fresh almost every week of the year. Tell me which one you're planting first, and if you missed the fruit trees that started all of this, that video is on the screen now. Subscribe and grow some.